my faith will go down. But if I can say he has done it for himself, he has done it for himself, what nobody cannot do, Jesus did it for himself. Do I have any problem with that? Does Jesus deserve 100 million pounds? Eh? Yes. Will the Father do it for him? Answer me now. Yes. Will God do it for Jesus? Yes. He may not do it for you, because you don't deserve it, because you've done nothing to worth it. But for his Son, who he loved, his beloved Son, that he will never refuse anything. Jesus stood by the grave of Lazarus and he said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know you hear me always. God doesn't answer my prayer always. God doesn't listen to me always, but he listens to his Son always. So don't do it for me, Lord. Do it for Jesus. And if he does it for Jesus, and Jesus is inside me, who will get the benefit? Me. No, say me. Me. See the way around. He will do it for him, and you are just a container. The moment you begin to think that way, then your faith will be the same as the faith Jesus has for himself. Because he's doing it for him. That has been my philosophy in life. I don't pray for money. I don't pray for protection. I don't pray for a long life. I don't pray for anything to do with me. I say, Jesus, if you need me around, you will give me a long life. And if you don't need me around, I'm better off with you, where I don't need air conditioning. But if I hang on to life, as if I don't want to die, I don't want to die. If I live for 250 years, for what purpose if it's not living for God? What else do I want to do? Is it because I've not eaten before? And then below the amount. Can you think you like to do? For 70 years, what did you give me to you? That's what do I? 100 more years. There comes a time in your life, and may you live long to find out. There comes a time in your life when if you're not living for God, there is no purpose living. And there should come a time in your life when having more money has no purpose unless you're having money as God's banker. Because everything you need, God has supplied. So what's the point of holding on to your life? Why don't you live for Jesus, and then Jesus will have no problem believing for his own miracles. When the first miracle Jesus performed in Cana of Galilee, what did he do? He did nothing. And his mother said to the servants, whatever he tells you. Who had faith for the miracle? Nobody. Because nobody told him what to do. He just says, whatever he tells you. If he tells you, do nothing, do nothing. If he tells you, bring stone, don't ask him, what is the matter with you? We're asking for wine, and you ask him, bring us stone. That's not your problem, how God will solve his own problem. So God be the glory. So what Hezekiah did was to present his case, not the solution to the problem. Just tell God. Whatever you want him to do, tell him. Don't worry how it will be done. Don't worry when it will be done. Don't worry who he will use to do it. Just present your case. When I was a new Christian, The Christian chorus I found popular at the time went like this. It says, leave it there, leave it there. Take your burdens to the Lord and leave it there. If you trust and never doubt, He will always bring you out. Take your burdens to the Lord and do what? And leave it there. Don't worry about it. Don't fret about it. Don't try to analyze it. Don't do anything. Just leave it. Let God, who is able, He that neither sleeps nor slumber, let Him worry how it will be done. And if it is not done, it's because He doesn't want it done yet. All the time that Joseph was going through his trauma, all the challenges of his life, there is no record in the Bible that Joseph ever said, God, what are you doing with me? This is not what you told me in my dreams. Everything he went through, if his dreams were given by God and the dreams were not fulfilled, it wasn't Joseph's problem. It was God's headache to make sure what He gave him, God Himself will have to fulfill. Remember what Moses said to the Lord in the wilderness? When God says, I am tired of these people, they are a stiff-necked people, I'm going to destroy them, and I will make for you another and better nation. What did Moses say to the Lord? He says, Lord, if you were to destroy them in the wilderness, the neighboring nations will say, it's because you are not able to take them to the land that you killed them on the way. It will be your reputation at stake. So when you have a problem, present the case to the Lord and let Him do all the working out. But we can't rest. When we bury our seed in the ground, we keep checking it every day to see how He's doing. Because we feel, if you don't remind God, God doesn't know His business. One of the prayers I prayed a long time ago is a prayer I heard another man of God pray. He says, God, let's see what you can do with a man who is totally committed to you. Let me be a challenge. I'm going to give you a challenge. Look at me now. I don't like to pray. I'm very shy when I come to preach. I'm very, very, very ineloquent and all the rest of it. I have a problem, but you called me to preach. And for me to be a good preacher, I must be a good Christian. But I have a bad temper. And I don't like things being done shoddily. So when I have people and I tell them to do something, if they don't do it properly, I will do it for them and just put him to one side. But Lord, the man prayed. See what you can do with a man who will give you every opportunity to change his life. He didn't say, Lord, I must change. I must be better. I must be holy. I must be prayerful. I must be loving. I must be gentle. He says, Lord, it is your job to make me what I should be, because Nigeria and mind my business when you call me. So if you call me, make sure I'm right for the job. Throw the responsibility back on God. So what did we say so far about Hezekiah's big break? First, he prepared for war. Second, he presented his case, not the solution. Third, he what? He produced the word. Let's go to Isaiah 37 again and verse 33. Isaiah chapter 37 and verses 33 to 37. Therefore, thus says the Lord. This is the reply God gave when Hezekiah presented his case. Therefore, thus says the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor build a siege mound against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and he shall not come into this city, says the Lord. For I will defend this city to save it. Now, listen to what I've been saying in verse 35. He says, for I will defend this city to save it. What does he say next? For my own sake. And then for my servant David's sake. What Hezekiah is asking God to do was to defend his own city. So he said, for my own sake. So that the king of Assyria will not say the God of Jerusalem is as weak as the other gods of the cities I had overrun. If you overrun Jerusalem, it means the God people in Jerusalem served was weak. So he said, for my own sake. Are you in business and you want to prosper? Say to God, see how you can make me so rich that people will know it's because you are my God. That's why I'm so rich, not because I'm so clever. Are you looking for children? Don't say, Lord, I have a barren womb and I need children. Say, Lord, you have a problem, because you said there will be none barren in the land. So if I don't have bambinos, how is anybody else going to get faith? By depending on what you say. So do it for your own sake. Are you getting my point? For I will defend this city to save it for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. Then the angel of the Lord went out and killed in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when people arose early in the morning, there were the corpses all dead. So Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, departed and went away, returned home, and remained at Nineveh. I want the devil to attack you in such a way that when you have victory, he will go back home and remain there. He will never visit you again. Amen. This is total victory when the enemy is so ashamed, he'll be frightened to attack you again if you go about it the right way. Life is not meant to be everyday battle, 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 battle. As we say in Nigeria, putting water in a bucket and the bucket is never full. Get your right. You don't want that. Every day you have little victory, little victory, little victory, but a series of challenges throughout your life. If you're going to have battle, have one gigantic battle and be done with it and give Satan such a beating, he won't come near you again. To God be the glory. You can have peace. You don't have to have conflicts, little skirmishes all throughout your life. But listen to this as I close. This is a prepare for war, present your case, and produce the word. Prayer doesn't start. All the things I've been saying now have been preparation for prayer. Prayer doesn't start until God gives you a word of what He's going to do. It's that word now you produce to the Father, because the Father says there is no word that has proceeded out of my mouth that will go unfulfilled. It's not your rubbing your hands together to pray. It's not because you are in problem. It's not because you are shouting and crying and fasting. It's because God has promised. If He hasn't promised, you can't hold Him to account.